If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. Lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
Hey party people, I am Mac back in Black Beauvais, and I am in the GM seat again, which, why am I doing this to myself and my players? Who knows? Let's go ahead and introduce the players right now, and then we'll talk a little bit about the game that we're actually doing. So I'm going to start over here on my left with Kimmy.
Hello, I'm Kimmy, and I'm going to be playing a character that we're going to decide in the next couple of while. It'll be great. Perfect. Yes.
Nailed it.
I'm Kadave. I have some ideas about a character. I don't have any idea how they'll come together.
I can't wait. Hi, I'm Terry. I have a character too. We're going to build that tonight. I can't wait.
Hey guys, it's Joey, and in the past, I must admit, I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, Joey.
Foreshadowing. That was very subtle foreshadowing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So this is the 7th Vale, and we are playing a game system called City of Mist. And City of Mist is a PBTA adjacent game is what I would call it, because it's got PBTA-like rules, but it's also quite different. So everybody in the city, basically there is a cityscape, and we'll be building out our city as we go along and throughout the time. And it is surrounded on all sides by mist, and no one really seems to know what's beyond the mist. Maybe think a little bit of like a Dark City kind of vibe, but we're actually going to go back to the 1940s, so this is going to be set in an actual noir setting. Mm-hmm. And all of our characters inhabit a mythos. So basically in this game system, your character can be related to anything mythologically. So it could be Baba Yaga, it could be a Hades, it could be a fairy tale character. And fairy tale characters is actually what we're doing because there's so many other wonderful things that we're streaming here at Happy Jacks, and we have a game with gods in it, so I thought maybe we won't do that. Mm-hmm. And we have next week, you'll want to tune in because there's Changeling the Dreaming, I think he's doing. Yeah. Changeling the Dreaming is coming up next week, so we're going to focus on fairy tale characters for our game creation.
Yay!
Plus 1940s noir and fairy tale characters.
What do you talk? I'm so excited. I can't wait. Bring me into the game.
The closest I get is radio announcing, horse racing. That's the best voice I can do. Like, they're coming around the outside. Everybody look at it. He's ahead by 1 length. Look at that. Oh, that rider fell off and now he's being trampled to death. My God, the humanity.
I'm into it.
That's all I've got.
Can you please do that a few times throughout this game?
I'm ruined.
It's got to.
I'm sorry.
Anytime someone's trampled to death, it's coming out.
I just always think like
Beautiful.
Katharine Hepburn Philadelphia Story and stuff. And I
Oh,
just
totally.
yeah, a lot.
Exactly.
So the way that the characters embody their mythos, I would describe it best, I think, as almost like a past life. So depending on how you build out your characters tonight will determine how in touch you are with your particular mythos, and whether or not you are really aware of it or just becoming aware of it. there's a whole range of things. So basically you have a balance of your life. You have your mythos, which is obviously whatever fairy tale character has decided to work through you. And you have your logos, and your logos is your ordinary everyday life. And so that is, your job, your career, your friends, all of that. Now, there are many of, they're called rifts. So you guys are called rifts within the city. So there are a lot of others out there, but the mist tries to dampen anything that's magical.
Okay.
So what might be magical to somebody, like, everybody will look away for some reason, or it'll look like something else, or they won't believe it because they're still asleep. So that also determines sort of, based on your character creation, how awake or asleep your character is and how much they can pierce through that mist and go, oh, that was actually a fucking lightning bolt, versus, oh, the street lamp flickered and, whatever, why are you making a big deal out of it? So everybody has character sheets. And I think the best thing to start with, because I'm not going to make you guys name your characters right now, but we should go around everybody. We've talked about what your mythos is and what your logos is. So I'd love to go around and have everybody say what theirs is.
Me first? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
So we talked about it, and I think I'm going to be like the gritty noir detective, but crossed with Red Riding Hood. So it's like, grandma was murdered and eaten by the wolf. I'm not going to let, like that, Scroot fucked me up, but I'm also, not going to, let that happen to more innocent people. I'm going to drink heavy and also, make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
So track down those missing people.
Oh my god, one of your weakness tags has to be heavy drinking.
Yes!
Yes.
We'll
That's
get to
usually
that in
my
a little
tag.
bit, too.
No.
Yeah. It will not be the first
I
time
would
I've
like
had
to
that.
argue with the fact that that's a weakness.
Well, I suppose it depends on the character.
Yes, that's true. All right.
I'm going to go with the fairy godfather.
Yes.
So glad.
Some sort of criminal semi-boss, at least, that also gives favors to people, helps people out achieve their goals.
On this, the day of my daughter's.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
That's honestly, I think, my favorite movie trivia is the whole Luca Brasi thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was hired as a consultant because he was actually involved in organized crime.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on set, and he was real nervous about meeting famous, like, Marlon Brando, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was super nervous about all of that. And just the way he talked and everything, they said, you know what? We need a guy to be a heavy. He's going to come talk to him. Like, let's just, you be the guy. And he was like, I don't think I want to do it. And then they gave him the script, and they're like, all you got to do is, you only have like 5 lines. Like, that's it. It's easy. You just got to come in and do this thing. And then when they were filming the wedding, the actor himself was walking back and forth under that portcullis sort of, not portcullis, portico kind of an area, just running the lines to himself because he was so nervous he was going to forget them. So that whole scene where he's kind of pacing back and forth going, and this on the day of your daughter's wedding, I come to you. Like, that whole thing was just because Francis Ford Coppola's like,
Yep.
and turned the
Get a
camera
camera
and
over
looked at
there.
him instead.
Nice.
Brilliant. Oh, is it me next?
Yes, it's your turn.
Hello, everybody. I am going to be playing my mythos is Queen of Hearts. Off with all their heads. And my logos is I am a hairdresser.
I love it. I love
Gives
it.
me close access to necks and things. And I'm a single mom. It's hard out there when you're a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 1940s, that's real rough. I get it.
It's very, very tough.
I decided my logos is a cabaret headliner, so a cabaret singer, very jazzy, very big bandy, whose mythos is the sea witch from Little Mermaid fairy tale. I am stealing a little bit from the Disney, a little bit from the original, because in the original she's got like 2 lines.
Yeah.
So we'll play with it, but that's where I'm at. She's gonna be awesome.
Fabulous. Okay, so that goes on the front of your character sheet. we'll deal with the rest of the front of this character sheet later because that's the crew stuff. So the next thing we're going to look at is the theme cards sheet. I'm going to hold this up so that our audience hopefully can see it. So you're going to have 4 theme cards, and you can determine what combination they are between Mythos and Logos theme cards. Depending on how many Mythos versus Logos you have is how like awake your character is to things. So if you had 3 Mythos on here, they really know what's going on. They're very in tune to the fact that they are embodying this background. If it's like more like 3 Logos, then they're pretty asleep to it, but they know something's up and they're not sure exactly what. Very balanced would obviously be 2 of each, and these will evolve over time with the game. So these can actually upgrade depending on if you focus on them, or eventually break and get replaced by something else. So for example, if one of you has a job and you're neglecting it because you're following what your Mythos is asking you to do and what is really pushing you there, part of your Logos life may fail to be relevant to you anymore, and then you'll swap out for something else that is relevant. So these are not locked in stone for the whole game.
Okay.
Now, the big difference between this and other PBTA games is normally you would have a theme book you would pick from, which would be your character archetype, and it would have like the powers, and you pick out between that. The theme books in this are a little different. So you have access to all the theme books. So I have a stack here of the Mythos theme books and of the Logos theme books. So what you're going to do is determine what applies to you. So for example, the first one on here with the Mythos theme book is adaptation. And this would be related to powers like having magic spells, adapting to harsh environments, shape-shifting, copying, some mysterious unpredictable force, elemental manipulation. Because let's say like this could perhaps relate to Dave's character because he has magic spells that he can cast. So he would maybe pick this and go through here. And then what you're going to do is there are questions in each one. So it's almost like a little worksheet that you follow through on here. So you get like kind of what the concept of it is. And then you pick out of these, it'll tell you how many questions to pick, and you answer those, and that essentially becomes your power set. So when we're actually playing the game, you can say, I've got, let's say, Fireball or whatever it is, and you're trying to cast a fire spell. You've got that, and you've got another power tag, because they're all called tags, that you can apply to your role. If you can justify whatever you have on your character sheet towards your role, that is the number that you add up when you're rolling your 2d6s.
Got it.
So that's what makes the character creation in this really great, because it's a lot of flexibility. You guys get to choose your powers, really. But it's also a little more complicated because you have to decide what makes the most sense for your characters. I know, Kimmy and Dave, you've got them on digital, so I will hand the printouts this way to you guys.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's a really fascinating system in that
I
way.
have my computer here too. Is that was that in the Slack?
Yeah, the documents in the Slack.
Look at me. Actually going to my Slack.
Yeah, because there are a lot to choose from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is, if you've just got like a vague idea, look for a theme book that kind of goes with that concept. Like if you have an item, if you have a defining relationship that's really changed things, do you have a day job that's relevant? Okay. Those are all in there. Have you had physical training, which would be part of your Logos? All of those options are on the table.
Cool.
Which is awesome. As I said, it makes it a little bit more complicated than just like, I have a workbook.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a multiple choice.
Right.
This is an essay exam for sure.
I kind of like the adaptation. I was sort of, were you looking at that?
I was looking at it, but I can have it on my phone too. Like I
Okay.
can,
No, it's okay. I can wait.
What is the?
But
Yeah,
I was just
adaptation
thinking, like,
is great.
Yeah, it might be cool. Like, I don't know. Like, I could do like wolf transformations. Like, maybe that is like my other side. Is,
oh
like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and the theme books also ask you to basically define the mystery. So, what are you looking to do? What are you aiming for?
It's in the back of the door.
Okay.
So, your mystery could be like, why do I have powers that are manifesting related to this wild animal?
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
And so not only are you going to be working towards the story that I'm telling as the GM, all of you are working towards your own individual stories and understanding your mythos better.
Okay.
And that's part of your goals as well. So it's really a system built specifically to make sure that everybody has personal character motivation and stuff that they're working on, which may be in conflict with other characters or with the overall story.
Okay. Fascinating. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I love the book though. Like looking like
Yeah.
the book is the art's amazing. It's so
It's
beautiful.
a gorgeous book.
yeah.
Yeah. And I have to give a shout out to Tappy because this was actually a game system he recommended when I said I wanted to run something noir.
Nice.
And so I really appreciate being pointed in this direction because this is, I'm really excited to run this system.
Yay. We're excited to play the system.
While you guys are looking through some of that, for the people listening or watching at home, I was thinking maybe I'll give my little overview of the game that I wrote up. So just to give everybody a bit of the flavor, and it might help inform what you guys are doing as well. Dark, dirty, and dangerous. This is Marchin City, though you'll rarely ever hear it referred to as such. The residents have taken to calling it Scar City due to the now unused quarry dragging its way through the center like a broken smile. No one really recalls what was being mined there, but no one seems to much care either. People mind their business here. It's the best way to survive in Scar City. Keep your nose clean, don't make a fuss, mind your P's and Q's. Gents and dames scurry through the narrow streets, slick with moisture, reflecting street lamps like fairy lights. This is where our heroes, if you can call them that, find themselves.
Nice. I like that the quarry with the smile is very well written. Good job, Mac.
Thanks, I don't suck sometimes. So it's, I imagine, is one of those cities that kind of feels like it's sort of perpetually dusk or nighttime. It's always kind of a dirty, narrow feeling, and there is always that ever-present mist that's keeping everybody kind of encapsulated. And a lot of the people in the city are completely asleep to the fact that anything else is going on. Yeah, in fact, if there are the two extremes that characters can be, but it's not recommended to start as that, but it could be where your characters evolve. Your characters could eventually get to a point where they go completely back to sleep, and they would be all four of their theme cards would be logos, or they become an avatar, which is all four theme cards are mythos, and you essentially are what your mythos is.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And it's cool because you can still continue to play if you want to. There's actually rules in there for continuing to do that, but it is a little more tricky.
Yeah.
And I definitely recommend picking 2 mythos and 2 logos and building out something that's very balanced.
I kind of was thinking about doing only 1 mythos.
That's okay too.
Okay.
So you want it to be like you're
because-
more asleep to...
A little bit. It's not even as much of that as there's so many more logos ones that fit in with the idea for my character.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot.
Okay. Yeah, it may mean that you're a little less aware of other things than the other. And if you see a power being used, you may not realize, or you might be more distracted. So it's something to keep in mind with the character.
I'm going to guess your one mythos is probably adaptation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually torn between adaptation and relic. Like the wand itself was the
Oh,
magic
that's
okay.
cool.
thing. But then there is like one of the weaknesses for adaptation is only works with the magic wand. So
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because let's see, which I'm also kind of looking at adaptation, but I want to make sure we don't go along the same.
There's so many sub choices
Yeah.
that it's going to be different.
Sure. Well, and you can decide what your wand presents as in the normal world too, and if you even really understand what it is that you have, your relic could look more like a walking cane or something. But it's actually your magic wand. That's the nice thing, is there's so much option.
I can see a lot of these. Which one were you thinking, Joy?
I was kind of looking at adaptation.
Okay.
I'm kind of torn between, for the second one, either subversion or expression.
Okay.
Just because I like the idea of the shape shifting, and that could be either in adaptation or subversion.
Yeah.
And then expression, just because of the pulling a little bit from like the siren mythos to like trying to incorporate that into filling this character out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of with your character in particular, that you would have sort of a siren song.
Yeah. So it's the expression probably, and then just depending on how I want to express that shape shifting.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it's something, maybe you have a power where you can, because of taking voices, maybe you can actually mimic voices or something.
I do like that.
So you can actually like steal somebody's voice and use that.
I actually really like that.
Okay.
You're so good at
Great.
this, Mac.
Shocking.
So crazy. I love
That's
it.
another reason that I'm really excited about fairy tales, is because that's something I very much love, and so that's a big thing for me, being able to pull those in, especially like when I'm thinking about like NPCs and stuff.
I think your
Am I-
headphone. Yeah, your headphones.
Dang it!
think are
I
touching
put
the thing.
it behind the
It's fine.
shoulder and it didn't stay.
You got to do a full behind the back
Yeah.
application.
So I
Yeah, get in there.
I'm thinking like the
caught.
Bastion, like becoming like it's like conjure armor or shield and vulnerability, magic protection. Like maybe something with my red hood, like does that where it like protects me. There's also, I don't know, the mobility one. There's one that had invisibility, but I don't remember which one that was.
I think that's subversion.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, you want to look at that one?
I don't know if that so much, but I was thinking it was on this one, but I feel like more like being tough is more her thing, like than because after like being the weak little girl who saw her grandmother get eaten, like she doesn't want to ever be like weak again, that sort of thing. So I feel like she'd overcompensate in that way more than like hiding and going invisible. I haven't even made the character, and I'm like already made her broken. You are broken.
Welcome to how I create characters
Right.
all the time. You're like, oh, here's my good character. Broken.
Broken, yeah. We haven't even met yet, and you're traumatized.
Yeah.
It's the best drama, though.
It
That's where the
is.
best stories
Yeah.
come from.
I had one character that was like not traumatized and like actually did that on purpose to try something different, and then ended up breaking them by the end of it anyway.
They have to. They have to have a change. Something's got to happen.
I did that in D&D with Marl, because Marl was like, everything's great, and then she died, and she came back, and she's like, I went to where I thought I was supposed to be, and that was a great honor, and you fuckers brought me back, and I'm not happy about it now.
It's like, okay, Buffy. But
Right,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, I totally did crib from Buffy, but it made a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's perfect. Cool. Looking at Relic
Okay.
to have some imbued.
There's also a Logos option, and I'm trying to remember which it is, where you could have a tool set as well. So depending on how you want, if you want it to be magic versus just having like a kit that you carry with you,
Okay.
you have options.
And then also divination,
Okay.
because I think that's interesting, because I think often when you go to your hairdresser, that's like you sit there and you're talking about like what you should do, and that's like usually advice central. I feel like that could be really interesting if she's got like, they're like, everyone comes here because she's got the best advice.
And I would also, for one of your Logos books, recommend looking at routine, because you
That's
have
what I
a
was
very
looking at.
specific
Yeah,
job.
that was the one I was looking at.
Because that's
Okay.
also going to be really important to your character, I think. As you get pulled into the story, are you still continuing to do your job and all of that? And
Absolutely.
Possessions. Possessions is the one in the Logos options where it would be a kit that you have with you. So you can go either way. I just want you to know what all of your options are.
Okay.
I think for my Logos, I'm definitely like defining events.
Oh yeah.
That seems just like so obvious. It's like loss of a loved one, valued possession, social standing, an accident, rise to greatness.
Yeah.
A thing.
Shocking no one, I picked up the personality Logos book.
The other thing I would recommend for your character, Kimmy, is looking at for your second Logos, looking at the training book.
Okay.
Because since she's a detective, she probably has some kind of training.
Yeah.
And that might be a good one for you to use for that.
Perfect. Okay. I will look at it right now. Very cool.
Now, if I had something that was made with my magic, but is more or less kind of mundane, would that fall under possessions, or would that fall under more of a relic?
It depends on what it does. Is it used for magic, or is it something that is inert right now?
It might be used for magic, might undergo a relic.
Yeah,
so I'll save that for later. Okay.
Yeah, because then that would be relic. The other option would be maybe you have something in your possession that right now is inert, and it's something that might become active later and might turn into, like I was saying, the cards can disappear and become other cards eventually. It may get broken down enough where it becomes a relic.
Okay.
So just depends on how you want to, what's important to you and how you want to play out your character.
Right. Yeah, the idea was, as she collects voices, she turns them into pieces of jewelry. And I was like, that would be fun to use, but that'd be more of a relic. And I think I prefer the 2-and-2 system, and I already have expression and adaptation. So I was thinking I could force that into possession, but I'll have to wait. I'll wait and make that a relic if that becomes a thing.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, with the trial characters that I built out, we did like half and half, and that seemed to just really balance things out, because you're going to be dealing with stuff where there's going to be use for more magical stuff, and there's going to be a lot of mundane things too to deal with.
God, the jewelry thing though.
I know, right?
I know.
It's like, why do you have so many brooches?
So good idea. Yeah. What is with this?
A ring for every finger.
So many rings.
See, I was thinking of a necklace with pearls, and all the pearls are different colors.
Yes, that too. Yeah.
Somehow with all of it, like none of it's tacky.
charms.
I don't know.
I know. It's not.
Well,
That
and
gown,
more beautiful.
that gown of Swarovski crystals.
Yeah. Well, in the 1940s, I mean, that was one of the things is women had their pearl necklace. That was one of the accessories to have.
Yeah.
What else would you have to clutch?
Yes.
Right? Thank you. All right, I think I'll go routine and make more of the cabaret situation a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Since I like that. All right, cool.
I'm sorry, you said we had two of one and one of the other one?
So I recommend doing 2 Logos and 2 Mythos.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
You know, you can do any combination, but I find that's the most balanced out.
That makes
Now that
sense.
I've made choices, let's go deeper.
It's hard because I've got like example characters I built out, but I want to save them because they're NPCs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So defining relationship, would that be maybe me and all my kids?
Yeah. How many kids have you got?
I'm still thinking about that. That's been my I mean, do I have so many I don't know what to do? I know I'm not the old lady in
I was
shoe.
about to say, like, you're gonna have to change which fairy tale.
I just imagine that, if you're somebody who's prone to throwing people out and being off with your head all the time, you're kicking people out all the time, and then left with oh, what did I do again? I feel like she's just often left alone. And then she's left with these kids, and she's just like, ugh. I mean, who's going to paint the roses? So,
the kids are all named after playing cards or something. Got Jack and Heart or something.
Yeah.
Little Queenie.
Yeah.
Little Queenie.
Queenie's a good name for a 1940s thing too.
And King, that feels very like an August Wilson play all of a sudden.
No, I
Headley.
actually really like the name Queenie. And that's the other thing when you're naming your characters. The book gives examples where the names are very unrelated to their mythos, and some where it's like very on the nose. So, go nuts.
Great.
Like if you want to do a character name that's like J.K. Rowling wrote it, like that's totally cool.
So serious. Oh.
Joe, you mentioned you're doing routine.
Yeah.
You sound quiet.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I coughed. I switched it
Okay.
One of the sub questions is about where do you go to carry out your routine. I didn't want to jump on any of them if you were
No, go for it.
committed to something. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll let you guys decide like how much interaction you've had with one another in the past. And like I said, we'll do there's a crew theme book which you all get to pull from and decide as a group. But I don't want it to be where you guys feel like you have to have had like all of these really tight connections. It could be very loose. It's a big city. Or if you're like, oh no, I'm best friends with this other person, totally cool too.
What kind of underhanded business are you involved in?
Generic extortion, racketeering, running the numbers.
Would you be running a nightclub as a front?
Maybe. I don't know if that. I don't. I don't know if it's a nightclub kind of a situation.
Okay.
I think he's a little dirtier than that.
Okay.
Like he's not upscale. He's not as much as I joke about Marlon Brando and,
Right.
and The Godfather. I don't think he's that upscale a boss. I think
It's
it's
a lower
more like-
level boss.
More
I think
like
he's
Badger?
Like yeah, he's more just street level. Like I was picking like he works out of the bar.
Oh, okay.
Like so, there's the bar down on the street, and that's kind of headquarters for his little gang and that kind of deal. Because I don't like. I think he aspires to be
Okay.
a higher level boss, that kind of thing, but he hasn't gotten there yet.
Perfect. I dig it. It was an idea that I was thinking
No,
about.
I dig it, but
No, it's all good.
I think that's too classy.
All right, I think I'm a little confused on how to do this.
Okay,
So,
well, let's go through it.
all right, so I have the mythos. I have it on my sheets. The bastion. I put it up there.
Okay, I'm gonna go to
that
the bastion on
Okay.
here, and that's a good thing. Let's walk through it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good way to.
It's a helpful way to do it.
Yeah.
So on the character sheet, the first thing it says mystery/identity.
Yeah, which is actually at the
here?
it's at the end
Oh, okay.
of the thing. So the first thing is the concept. So
Okay.
it's basically like what the overall idea is of your
What
power
it is.
with it.
So it's like a protection thing. So I was thinking like my red cloak.
Okay.
So
Protective red cloak.
Yeah. I might change it a little bit, but that's like kind of the basic.
Sure,
idea.
and you can definitely adjust things, as you go with it. So one of the next thing is, how does your mythos protect its agenda? It makes me impervious to blank. It allows me to ward off blank with blank. It renders blank ineffective by blank. So this is just your way of kind of what the overall point of it is
Okay.
as well.
Okay. So keeping me. like,
So it makes
same-
you like impervious to damage.
Like I guess like that's my question. Like how specific does it get? Like do I need to say it? It makes me bulletproof, but like I'm still susceptible to other types of damage. Like
That's sort of up to you.
okay, so it's more narrative.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's definitely more narrative
Okay.
because this part's narrative because the power tags are what you're going to actually use when you're doing a roll eventually.
Okay, got it. All right. So yeah, so it like kind of makes me impervious to harm.
Okay,
it makes me
so that's sort of just something to keep in your mind. I don't think there's actually a space for it
Yeah.
on here. So the next part is the power tag questions. You have to answer the first question, and then you get to pick two more. So you have to answer A,
okay.
which is what quality or ability granted by your mythos most often protects you. And the examples are grow bone armor, can't die, already dead, ghost, no physical body, radiates authority, regrow organs, dragon scales. So whatever it is that you have. So that could be that deflects bullets or whatever it is that you want it to do.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll just say, I mean, it's a cloak, so it's like kind of cumbersome. Like if someone's worn a lot of cloaks, but it's gonna be like. It's going to be a magic fairy tale cloak where it's not a pain in the ass to wear constantly.
Sure.
And I can actually fight in it well.
It's a trench cloak.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Hey, there you go. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like a red trench coat thing instead.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm Carmen Sandiego. It's so exciting.
That's exactly where my brain
Yes.
was.
I've been watching that cartoon. It's the new one. All right, that's what it is. All right, so it's a trench cloak. Got it. Thank you, Joey.
You're very for that.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's what I would title make your theme title.
Okay.
It would be trench cloak.
Trench cloak. Yep. Now I can buy the jacket I was looking at first. I was thinking of doing Carmen Sandiego for San Diego Comic Con.
And you should.
And I should. Because the new cartoon is so good. If you haven't watched it, you should.
Yeah,
it's also educational, so it's like on brand for me.
Good.
Badass, dark hair, brunette with also education.
Yeah.
I need a new cartoon because just finished season 2 of She-Ra.
Yeah, they go.
Yes. So
But
good.
they go places and they like have information about where she's going to like steal things. It's very cute. So very for kids. Like it's not. There's not like another layer of like adult humor on top of it. But
No.
it's good.
So what do you want it to actually do when it's
So
on?
yeah, I think it's like armor.
Okay.
Not like a suit of armor, but it like protects me. It's like impervious, like magical Kevlar type thing.
Okay.
So. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay.
Now you get to pick 2 other questions,
Okay.
and you get to decide what is applicable to your item. So,
Okay.
for example, you probably wouldn't want to answer B, which is what means you have extending protection to others.
Right.
It's something you're wearing for yourself. That doesn't really apply.
There's a lot of questions. That's cool though.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of options in here. D might be a good one for you. Against what type of attack or influence is your defense especially effective?
Ooh, yeah. I'd say against. I guess this is a question like what things we'll face. Are we going to face? Because like my first instinct is to have it be especially effective against things like claws and like knives and like attacks like that, since that's like my defining event was like the wolf attack.
Bladed weapons.
Yeah, like bladed weapons. Would that include claws and stuff though for you?
I think so. I think you could make an argument for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what you guys are going to face yet.
Okay,
I'm still
that's okay.
I'm still building out what's going to happen based on what we get from character creation tonight as well. Because again, this story is really important to include everybody else's motivations. So, like I said, the system is built specifically to make sure that you all have your own personal goals, and it's not just me narrating a story at you and you kind of going like, oh, okay, this is my goal, I guess, over here.
Nice.
Like it's an active thing, and if you act against your goals, that's when you start having your theme cards break away.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So, for example, if you are seeking your grandmother's killer and you consistently ignore story clues or chances to go and do that, your card that's got the defining event might start to break away because that's becoming less important to you.
Interesting. That's cool. That's a neat way to like make that like mechanize that.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at what your other bastion things are.
I like G, which is what other effect or quality, not necessarily defensive, came with your defense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like how crazy, because it's like inhuman strength, made of clay, like, can I be super strong when I'm wearing my cloak? Is that like,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry, trench cloak.
Cloak. Where in the world is her trench cloak?
Very good.
Okay, so you've got 3.
How many am I supposed to pick?
It's 3.
Oh, 3. Oh, perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah, you may get other power tags for it eventually, but right now you don't.
Perfect.
So, weakness tag questions. So you choose one question to answer.
Okay.
And so it's something that is negative about the item or the power that you have. So, one is, how do your defensive powers affect your appearance?
That's fabulous.
What are the unwanted implications of your defense? What attacks is your defense susceptible? And what personality trait derived from your defense gets you into trouble? So
is like, guess that doesn't really count. What personality trait?
So let's see.
It's kind of a tricky one.
So what are the unwanted implications of your defense? Maybe because you've got a red jacket on, you're an easy target.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. That's
because they can see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last part is the mystery. So what it says is, choose a mystery for this theme, a question that your mythos wants to explore, investigate, or discover the answer to. It could be related to your powers, to your legend, or to your mundane life. For example, why do I feel like I'm different? Who killed me and why? What is the dark force rising in the city?
Got it.
Regarding weakness tags, is it something that is going to happen every time you use your power, potentially, or is it something like if you roll a 6 or under that can get triggered?
So it's basically something that I can tap into or you can tap into, because we're all... This game isn't about winning.
Yeah.
So it's something...
What?
I know, right?
Table flip.
So you might have, for example, she's got... It makes her an easy target. So she's running through, and she says, I'm going to use this, and I'm using all of these power tags to protect myself from oncoming bullets. I'm going to say, yeah, but you're going to take a -1 because you're an easy target, you're easy to spot, so they're having an easier time leveling, bullets at you. So it's something that may not apply all the time, but can be a downside to that particular thing.
The only reason I asked is I was looking at the... for my Siren Song expression, what are the repercussions of bringing your mythos into this world? And I liked one of the examples they gave of overzealous thrall. And so almost like having, if I charm someone, the weakness could be that they are charmed longer than I want them to be, or become overly attached.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if that's something that's going to happen every time I use it. Then I have this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't think it'll be always.
Okay.
But it's something that
Could happen. Okay.
And overzealous fans.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I like it. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's the nice thing about these is that you kind of tap it as it is relevant, and I can tap into things that you guys have on there, or you can, or you just story-wise, you're like, hey, because I think I'm trying to remember because the game mechanics. I think when you tap into your weakness tag yourself, and it might actually be when I tap into it as well, that's part of how you do the advanced track to up your powers.
Okay.
So you may want to actually use it so that you are advancing that power.
Okay.
Because these powers can get stronger and grow. I don't have all of that memorized yet because this is very complicated.
Yeah, it's a very big book.
Yeah, it's huge. This book is 510 pages, by the way, everybody.
Which is crazy for something that's a PBTA.
Yeah, I mean, there's comic strip stuff in here too, but it is mostly very meaty text.
And there is a big section that's just the setting. If you want to use our City of Mist, here's a breakdown of the city.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's very dummy proof, so you can have everything already pretty much laid out for you to just go and run if you want.
Yeah.
Which is a nice option to have.
That's fantastic.
Especially for somebody who's new at GMing.
Adaption, there's divination.
Or just, especially if you're doing something that's noir, if you really want to do your own stuff. But if you don't, it's great to not have to worry about that piece if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, and the setting is actually meant to be set up as neo-noir.
Yeah.
I just think it's more fun to actually take it to the 40s, and plus, I'm a big fan.
That's your aesthetic?
Well, number one, it's my aesthetic. Number two, I'm a big fan of putting characters in situations where we strip out the internet and cell phones.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I really enjoy running in older settings because I think it adds a layer of complication for communication,
Absolutely.
which I like very much.
It's like good scary movies. The communications always go out first.
I changed my mind. I'm going to do 2 and 2.
Okay. That works.
What was I forced to learn because of this relationship?
Because I didn't hear anybody going for mobility. And I'll have fairy wings.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm obsessed with this character, Dave.
Thank you for walking through that with me. That really helped.
Yeah, it definitely takes some walking through because the first couple of times too, even I was like,
Yeah.
And because it's so broad, it's a little more difficult to do because it's like everybody wants to write something that's kind of fair.
Yeah.
But also the book is like, go nuts.
Go
like,
crazy.
I'm impervious to damage because I'm already dead. Like, that's an option.
Yeah.
Fairy Wings is awesome. And that kind of stuff's going to be fun to play with because it's like everybody's asleep. So just like how does that manifest to the person walking down the street? When somebody goes flying by and they just don't notice, or they're like, "Ooh, look, shiny."
I'm like always key lit. Like,
Yeah, right.
That would be awesome.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm looking for
I'm not gonna
personality or
give-
routine.
Routine.
Yeah. I'm not going to give all the details, but one of the NPCs, good lighting is one of the things that helps them.
nice.
So things like that are definitely like it's all good.
I love great lighting.
Just be like Morticia Adams and fall into the perfect noir lighting every scene.
Right?
So true.
So nice. Did someone take expression? Did you take
I took expression for my siren song.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's a nice thing though about these
Especially
theme
in
books
second
is even if you have duplication, it's of theme books, the power set's going to be so different.
Yeah.
So what he has for
Run, Red, run!
That wolf.
pardon me. No. Wow, there. Yeah, expression for one character may be a completely different power set from expression
Got
for
it.
another.
Okay.
Puppers have a lot to say. Release the hounds.
I would like to have like a gif of you saying that.
You heard her, internet. Make it happen.
Don't.
Do it.
Those are seriously like mortal weakness.
Are they? So sorry.
Nom 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 nom.
But they're
I would sit down and just
golden.
have dinner.
Little
Like that would just be
golden. Golden balls of
We should
goodness.
tell them what they are.
Oh, sorry, the people on the internet that are not watching but that are listening. Ferrero Rocher, little balls of gold, golden foil.
See, this whole time, because the tape was still on there, I thought they were sealed.
Oh.
So I was like,
Oh, no,
I can
half
just
that
resist.
box
I
is
can
empty.
resist because I know it's not open.
Uh-oh.
Curses.
Nope.
Babe.
Sorry, it was Teacher Appreciation Week.
Oh,
I'm bringing my sins to you.
We appreciate you.
it's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing the wealth.
No problem. Thank you for sharing the calories.
My kid's school made us bring a healthy snack. And I was like, you rat bastards. It's so much easier to just get something horribly delicious.
It does get to be a little bit much, though.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But I was still like, all the healthy snacks are like fresh.
Yeah.
They're going to rot before you could eat all of them.
That's true. That's hard to manage. They do like a different thing every day at my school. It's like one day's like gift card
that's what we
day.
had to do,
One day's draw your teacher a picture day. That's my favorite day. I always get like this weird combination of like video game characters and Wonder Woman because they all by this time have picked up what I like.
That's adorable.
It's
though.
super cute.
That's
it's the
great.
Best. It's my favorite day.
It's so good.
We had write a thank you letter, like for the things that you enjoyed this year.
I love that.
And bring a healthy snack. Bring a flower or plant.
Nice, yeah. There was diet.
I forget what else.
You always get the little letters. It's like, Dear Miss B, thank you for being the best teacher ever. Thank you for not being mad at us all the time. Thank you for it's like the brutal
All the
honesty.
time.
Yeah. Thanks for liking me even when I do the wrong thing. Aww. Thanks for reading out loud to us every day. Thanks for liking video games. Like the weird things. You're like, eh.
But that's the stuff that sticks with them. That's so cute.
It's very cute. They're very, very, very cute. Oh, yes, they are very cute. All right.
Okay.
You're all set?
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm almost there.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna
I did
catch
a lot
up.
of
Hi
talking,
guys.
yeah. Now it's your turn to talk.
I was
so
like,
we
I'm
can finish ours.
thinking. Yeah.
Tell us more, Dave.
So adaptation, wish granting, kind of, not necessarily like genie style granting a wish, but like what someone truly desires.
Yeah.
And
You got a
specifically
needful things situation going on
a little
down
bit
there?
like that, yeah. So cast a magic spell for A. Then I went with B, transmutation.
Okay.
So I don't really make things appear, but I can convert things from one thing to another.
Okay.
A la mice into horses and pumpkins into carriages and that kind of shit.
Rad.
Oh my god, I love you so much.
And then I forget what question J was. I should actually write that down. How can you enhance or weaken others with your powers? Just what they need.
Okay.
So
it's
God,
less
we
about
need-
what they want and more what they need.
Yeah, or like somebody's in a hairy situation. Like, oh, okay, we're in an alleyway and there's a locked door. If only we had the key to the door. Maybe I can turn your gun into a key.
Don't got a gun no more, but you got a key.
Yeah. Then I did mobility fairy wings. I forgot mystery identity. I did. How many do I need to help?
Ooh.
Because I don't want to actually just be like a horrible criminal. Like,
Yeah.
there has to be something redeeming about the character. I mean, I'm willing to do horrible things. I don't want to just be that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So mobility, I did fairy wings. No one locks 10th floor windows. A, flight, gossamer wings. F, dodge bullets.
Okay.
And H, strength to carry a bull.
Wow. Okay. What's the weakness on those two?
I'm sorry. Weakness for adaptation only works with the magic wand.
Okay.
And then weakness for the fairy wings is, I went with C, which is what happens if you're caught, and claustrophobia.
Oh, okay.
Like not being able to get out of a place. Like I always have to know where the exits are or where a window is or something.
So when Captain Hook comes and closes you in the lamp.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. It's going to have to be a fucking big lamp, but...
Yeah, right? the biggest.
Where did you get a lamp like this?
Had it.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay. Then I went with mission.
Okay.
The boss. Mystery identity. We have to control the underworld. I went with A, solid leadership. Then H, I had to earn street cred to get my position.
Okay.
And then C, who's going to help me? My crew.
Okay.
My guys. Then I went with and then the weakness was the status quo. Why I haven't succeeded in my mission to take over the underworld.
Oh, okay.
Because there's only so much you can do. If you go to all-out war, then the police are going to get involved, and other groups might not like that. You know, there's more than one faction of criminal in town, that kind of thing.
Yeah, there definitely are. In fact, 2 things that I would love from you, or to have you at least think about, is what is your criminal organization's name?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have fronts, what are they and what are they named? Because that's going to help us build out our city.
For sure.
Because I can tell you there's already several different factions in the city.
I figured. That's what cities are about. And then I did routine, criminal enterprise, that I swore an oath, the family first.
Sorry, I watched all the Fast and Furious movies back to back for the first time yesterday.
Oh my god.
And everything was like, it's about family. I was like, chill out, Vin Diesel. But just when you said that, it's all I could think about.
That's true.
So
Oh my god, those movies are
okay,
terrible.
I'm not going to talk like this the whole time.
They're amazing.
They're terrible.
They're amazing.
Terrible.
They're objectively bad movies.
They start-
I don't know
They're
what you're
fun to
talking about. I
watch.
don't know what you're
They
talking
go
about. They're
down
amazing.
and then they go back up again. Like
My
there's like a
favorite
big
is
U-shape.
5, though. I did like 5
see?
because they drive a
Goes
whole
back-
fucking safe through the city.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
pretty
kind of
fun.
rad.
At some point,
Like
they just
Westworld. So, oh heck, I forgot what the question was.
Oh.
Which book was it?
For routine.
Oh, I don't have that one. Sorry.
All right, I'll get there in a second.
Here somewhere.
What do you do with your time? Is just being a crime boss. Like, I think I also like to still get out there and rob somebody once in a while. Like, just the stuff that I did as a street level thug
Sure.
that I don't get to do anymore. But I think I kind of like, when nobody's around that needs anything from me, maybe I step out and try and get my hands dirty once.
Sure.
Because it's fun. I went with where do you carry out your routine? And I went with Mickey's Bar.
Okay.
And then
M-O-U-S-E.
what did you learn on your daily activities? And then it was basically like the city's organized crime. Like who's where and what territories and
Sure.
that kind of stuff. That kind of deal.
So something you can do now that you've gotten all of those together is if there is a theme book that you want to add an additional power tag and weakness tag to, you're allowed to do that.
Okay, one of each.
One
Or
of each, but just one. Like, let's say you want to have an additional thing with your mobility. You can add an additional power tag and weakness tag, so you can answer an additional question
Oh, but it has to be on one.
on one of them.
Okay, very good.
So you don't have to, but that is an option. And
will take a look.
yeah, I was saving that for once you had everything, because then you can look at it, you know,
Yeah, for
top
sure.
view and go, okay, this is the one I want to boost.
I forgot the weakness I went for the criminal enterprise was calling all cars.
Nice. Earlier you said we were like Dark City a little bit.
Yeah.
Is it dark all the time in our city or not?
I think that's something that we can decide as a group, is sort of how it is in the city. I imagine, I get the feeling that it's always, even if it's not dark out, is maybe always overcast because of the mist.
Okay.
So it never feels, it's like a bright sunny day is just not a thing unless anybody disagrees.
No, that makes sense.
That's fine.
But one of the things for one of my mythos, I was going to do. It says, "What conditions or situations enhance your mythos expression?" And it's like I'm a good fighter. I'm kind of like using it as like inspiration from the wolf part of the Red Riding Hood. So I was thinking like at night, or it's like more powerful at night.
Okay.
But if it was like always night, that seemed like a little like
Yeah.
seemed a little like min-maxy.
Yeah,
if
I think
always
it's
night.
you know, there's still
It's dark, but
daytime,
it's daytime.
but
Okay.
yeah, it never feels like bright.
That's okay. So it's still there's still like on and
Yeah,
off.
so
time.
yeah, it's better at
Okay,
nighttime.
cool.
That works.
I'm still stuck in between possession or relic now because I've filled out the other guys.
Okay, well, what do you have for your balance of mythos and logos?
You mean for the other? Oh, the other ones, the other stuff I have divination,
Okay, which is a mythos.
I have routine,
which
for
is logos.
and then defining relationship, which is logos.
I would go with relic then, so that
keep
you have
it.
another mythos.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. I recommend the balance, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and it can be anything you want. You can, you know, you mentioned scissors, which is fine. Maybe it's a pack of cards that you do something cool with, too.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a red rose brooch that does something.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of options.
Some object is incarnated in an object. A modern day item can channel it. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Okay.
What you thinking?
I'm just thinking of like a mini scepter of some sort. Like, you know what I mean? Since that would be traditionally what she would have. So maybe it's something in that vein.
I'm sorry. I
What?
just thought of like a badass curling iron scepter.
Yes.
Like you just burn the shit out of people that you hate.
Don't question the ability of a curling iron to defeat things.
Right?
Oh my god, I have 2 curling iron scars like on my arm for sure.
And you know, the thing is, it may be that she pulls it out and people, like, mundane
they
people,
think you
they
have.
think
Bow
you
down.
have, you're holding
love that.
a curling iron.
Oh my gosh, that's
And they're like, that's fucking weird, but okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's very good.
I like it, Kadeva. I'm gonna take it.
It's the fanciest curling iron I've ever
It
seen.
really is. It's the good one, you know?
Like this beautiful, shining, like, gold or something.
Those are the best.
So I did go with adding
Okay.
stuff
Which one did you add to?
to adaptation. That I can summon fairies,
Cool.
and the weakness dark magic is forbidden.
Okay, that's cool.
So if somebody's need is in conflict with that, that could be very interesting.
Yeah, like if their great need desire is like murdering somebody or something, I can't make that. I can't kill people with the power. Maybe I could give him a gun. Like if he's holding a banana, I could make it into a gun. That
Sorry.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's a little clowny, but
No, I know.
but
It's a great kind of off the cuff example.
Yeah, well, and it's something where if you try and go against it, it could start breaking down that card, too.
sure.
It's always interesting to see what... I'm really curious to see how that mechanic comes into play.
Some year I'll be done with this coffee.
Aw.
Right,
The
though?
fair's over.
Yep.
No.
It's not. It's not even fair related
Not the
anymore.
hay?
It's just the devilry.
Yep.
Aw,
It's
this
been-
year has been really brutal.
I'm on
with
like week 3 or 4 of this. It won't go away.
the super rains this year. It brought us like the super bloom, which has left us with the super allergy season.
Yep.
It's been really fun.
The pollen apocalypse.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What is revealed to you through these? Okay. Ooh.
Actually, this starts like clipping along pretty fast. Like after you do the first one, like it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
clear
yeah.
to
Get
the
into
rest
the-
of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. I just got to get a weakness, and I think I might be
Yeah, I'm just working on the mystery identities now.
this last one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But-
Oh, I got to get to the next page. Oh, I'm behind. Oh no, I'm still there.
Oh, yeah,
you're
you're on the
fine.
right page. Yeah, you're
I
fine.
thought I was
the-
missing a page.
No,
No, you're good.
the
There is
third,
another page, but I don't think we're doing it right this
it's
second.
the backside
The backside of water.
of
yes.
these. So this is as we go along. If you get improvements to your powers,
You can add
then you
more.
can track it here.
Okay.
But right now, so you have the sheets, but you're not actively going to be using them right now.
Got it.
I just want to make sure you had them for when we eventually get to that kind of thing.
So what happens, like, with Dave's character? Like, if he does try and, like, how does that work? You just can't do it? Like dark magic? Or, like, if someone else... How does that work? Or does that, like,
If
what you're saying, pull away the different archetypes or whatever?
It might make it like really hard. It definitely. Let's say you decided you wanted to go against that. You would definitely roll with that weakness tag in effect, so it would drop your power by 1. So you could maybe do it, but it's going to be more difficult for you to accomplish. And then I would say it kind of goes against what
Power.
the point of the power is. So I would say, hey, mark on the fade/crack track to that, that power is that mythos card is starting to look bad.
I dig it. And then, is that like a permanent -1 after that? Or is
I
it like
think
only when you get 3 hits, you're...
Yeah, I think
point.
I think it's permanent. I think that they
Okay.
can balance out. So I think you can have like 2 on the fade track and 1 on the attention track, and still like basically whichever fills up first.
Gotcha.
At least that's my understanding of it.
What were those called?
I guess I don't know. Let's try that. Looking at the...
Howdy. What you doing?
Nothing. Do you want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So relic, the scepter / curling iron. It's gonna make people bow down. I don't know why. Looks like a curling iron, I guess, is my look, or what it looks like normally. But what it really is a scepter, and it can summon underlings.
Okay.
I don't know how yet, but we'll figure that out. And then weakness, it easily burns. It shouldn't, but it does. Sometimes people who shouldn't be. Divination.
So you could basically hurt yourself or others with it potentially.
Because maybe I don't see it clearly as a curling iron when other people, because I see it as a scepter, and sometimes it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be a difficult thing to navigate. Divination, we talked a little bit about that. Fortune telling, hairdresser advice. I can see malicious thoughts
Okay.
that people have, and have an ability to expose hidden secrets from people. And one other thing, I can sniff out cheaters. And that's probably where I've had some problems. But I can, my weakness is I can get overloaded if it's a lot of information to take in sometimes. And sometimes it's too much. So sensory overload.
Okay.
My routine, I'm a hairdresser. I have access to city gossip and secrets. The reason I do this job is because the kids got to eat. And then when I get home, those kids can be very cranky and they won't go to bed right away. Defining relationship, my kids. They're my babies. I love them very much. What's that? I gotta look at the question.
So is your routine and defining relationship all the kids, or?
The routine is as a hairdresser, but I do the job because it asks, why do you do the job?
Okay,
I was
got
like, I do it because the kids have to eat.
Okay.
So I guess they're intertwined, but they're not the same.
Gotcha.
Further questions. There we go. Defining relationship. Just why is your relationship so important? And I just said they're my babies. They're like, I love them. I answered what helps you protect them? And I said knowing city secrets.
Okay.
And knowing, what, to help ward them from that. And then C, what were you forced to learn because of this relationship? And mine was to become a protector.
Okay.
And then weakness. Just the question. How can they be hurt or impeded? I just put their babies, their kids, they don't know any better, so gotta help them.
Like with Dave's, you can pick one of those and answer an additional question for a power tag and an additional weakness.
Okay.
You don't have to, but you can if you want to boost one of those.
Of course, I feel like I
and
should.
And then things to think about, don't have to answer tonight, but I would like, is the name of the salon that you work at.
Oh, yeah.
And the names of your kids.
It's the Red Rose Salon. Maybe. Well, I'll think about it.
Okay.
Quick couple of questions about the world.
Yes.
So, are we an entirely self-contained city? Like, no one's ever left, or no one's come back?
You're not really sure. People don't really talk about it. It's just not something that occurs to people.
But it's not like there's a port with, like, ships that come in and stuff? That's not a thing?
There could be the docks, but you just, not really sure. Like, the idea of going beyond the mist may occur to you, but it just seems inconsequential.
Okay.
It's just, ships show up.
Okay, but like that does exist. Like
we can talk if you want it to be if we want it to be a city that's got the docks and everything, which is great for a noir setting. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of want to have my business run a set of automats.
Ooh, nice.
Just to.
Like a chain.
Yeah, it's like I don't know the name of the chain yet. I'm still working on it, but like I think that it's a good front. Like
well, it's awesome because you can like put something in there and have it let people come
Somebody
in and
puts in $100 instead of 50 cents, and they don't get egg salad. They get
drugs.
Something illicit good. Yeah.
Best kind of automat.
Drugs.
Yeah, that's awesome. It'd be like the wish granted automat or something like
Zoltar.
that.
But sometimes I pull the dummy out and I sit there holding a wand.
Oh God.
Have you named your character yet? Just out of curiosity.
I had a name, but I don't know if it's going to work now.
Okay.
But I'm
We do a power and a weakness, though, right, for the one we're boosting?
Yes.
Okay.
Terry, I'm sorry, I was writing while you were going over stuff. So your kind of strength, like, is like getting information from people, like connecting them. Okay, cool. I'm going to change.
Well, I like that yours is like more city surface level, and Dave's is more like underworld connection, which is nice because it's a good balance.
Why are the mysteries so hard to figure out?
Yeah, the mysteries are really
that's the hardest part.
difficult. You know.
I think I'm going to go with exotic automats.
Nice.
Like that's the brand name.
Yeah.
Is exotic, and like it serves weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not just ham and cheese sandwiches and stuff, but it's like pad thai in the 40s.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You go there and you want something a little different.
Training. Do you have the training book? Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's missing the last
page.
Yeah. The thing at Kinko's decided to print an extra page at the beginning of the ones I requested, and then miss a page at the very end.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you.
Just tap on the side.
Oh, fancy. Thank you.
Terry.
Chocolates passed around. All right.
I think I might go with Daniel Holbrook.
Ooh, I like it.
but in theme, I think it's got to be the Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically because I like the idea of it's not a monoculture gang.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of people of various, kind of like why we have the automats that serve all kinds of crazy food, because we've got there's a Thai guy that knows how to make that kind of food.
Yeah.
You know.
So for my training, I decided to do like detective, like training in being a detective. As part of that, for one of the weaknesses, it says, how does your training adversely affect your psyche or body? Can I have it be my psyche? Because I had a bunch of cases that I wasn't able to solve, and so those keep kind of like adding up.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
You torture yourself about every case that doesn't.
Yeah, that I can't solve.
Yeah,
There's like a wall in my office of all these pictures that just like look at me every day.
Yeah, unsolved cases. And that could be something that comes in where you're investigating something and another character doesn't believe that you can do it because they know you've got unsolved cases on the shelf.
Perfect. Cool. Right.
So exotic automats and Lost Boys gang.
All right, I finished mine. Sorry. Took a
That's
long
fine.
time.
You're still fine. I'm still working on my last
Are you?
mystery.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still working on mysteries.
Yeah, the mysteries are like,
Yeah.
they're hard.
And like I kind of know what I want to do, but I can't figure out how to phrase it. It doesn't seem right, and
Yeah. The phrasing on those seems super important. Yeah.
Yeah, and for your story / homework, I'd love to know where your cabaret is, like what the name of the establishment is.
absolutely, yeah, it's
that's
on my
something I would like.
for sure. I got you.
And does your character have a manager? Or somebody that like runs the establishment that
Yeah,
you deal with?
absolutely.
I would love that info.
Yeah, for sure.
And with Kimmy's, I definitely want to know the name of your detective agency.
Yeah.
And I feel like you probably have like a rival detective.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That makes perfect sense.
Curse you, Flanagan!
All right, I think I got it. Okay, so I'll read mine out if you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, so my first mythos is Bastion. So I have my protective trench cloak, and it's the mystery / identity is hiding the monster I am inside. So it's basically armor. It protects me. It's especially good against blades and claws, and it also gives me like super strong kind of like wolf-inspired strength. But its weakness is I'm easy to spot. Like I'm wearing it all the time. People know where I'm at. Everyone can clock where I'm at. My second mythos is expression. So it's warrior prowess. It's like kind of like, am I the same as the wolf? And it kind of like wants the wolf to be like free. There's like this inside monster. I'm an ultimate fighter. It's especially effective against people who are hurting the innocents.
Okay.
And it works better at night.
Okay.
And then the weakness is I risk losing control. Sometimes when I start using it, sometimes I can't stop myself from hurting more people. And then my logos is my defining event was my grandmother's murder. And I will never forgive myself is the mystery for that. And it left me with a need for justice. I'm always ready to fight because one time going to grandma's house, everything was fine. And then it was awful. So now I'm like always on edge and like ready to fight no matter what. And then the other thing is what big teeth you have. I have a charming smile that helps me get information when I need it. And then the weakness for that is like the emotional baggage, like the guilt and like kind of PTSD of having gone through that event.
And that was like your first crime scene too.
Yeah. And I was a little kid at the time, so it was like a big thing. And then my other logos is training, and it's I can't save everyone, but I try. And it's my detective training. My specialty is finding people that are missing. And then what big eyes you have, which is like I'm good at noticing and seeing things, like in crime scenes and in situations. And my weakness for that is all my unsolved cases that kind of haunt me and also damage my reputation. Just can't let them go. Like I just like focus on them and always feel guilty about them.
Cool. And then, like everybody else, if you want, you can select one of those and add a power tag and a weakness tag.
Okay. I'll think about that.
Sure.
Cool.
Okay, I've got everything except the mystery for my adaptation, so I'll come up with that as soon
Well,
as I
that's
can.
maybe something we can
Work on.
brainstorm too.
Okay, cool. So for my
Terribly mysterious.
yeah, so my first theme is expression. I went with the siren song. The mystery is when will the world learn the lesson? I'm right. You're wrong. If you come with me, I will tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I'm not right. I'm not good. I'm not nice. I'm just right. Power tags. I went A, the entrancing voice, clearly. The F, which I think is I should have written these down. No, that's the wrong one. I want expression. There it is. F. Oh my god, I can't find anything now. So many pages. F. What special variants or specific uses of your mythos main form of expression have you mastered? And that's the power of suggestion.
Okay.
So not only can I get kind of people to come into me, but I can also put things in their ear to get them to do things. What conditions or situations enhance your mythos' expression? Physical contact.
Okay.
So if I'm up and, talking to someone and, touch their hand or stroke their cheek,
Oh.
it's a stronger connection.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sit in somebody's lap during a routine.
Exactly. Whisper sweet nothings in someone's ear. The weakness tag are the fanatical fans. The second theme I went with was the adaptation, and I went with voice collector.
Okay.
The generic ability is basic magic spells, basic witchy kind of
Sure.
things of that nature. The method or the spell that I've mastered is stealing people's voices. And the personality or mindset that I take when I'm using it is words are power.
Okay.
So being able to use other people's words against them or for other people, make it stronger. My weakness tag for that, I do like the idea even if they don't have any power yet, I still like the idea of capturing the voices in jewelry.
Sure.
So I think that my weakness is I've become a hoarder.
Oh.
So I collect them and I don't care what happens with them. I have them in their mind. And that's the one mystery I don't have yet.
That's fantastic.
My first logos theme is personality, moth to a flame. The identity is I want you to want me. The power tag, the basic expression of it is basic old Hollywood glamour. The thing I can do to get myself out of no, that's the wrong one. Where is it? So many pages. There it is. Personality. When you want, you can also come across as innocent.
Okay.
And then what aspect of personality keeps you safe or helps you resist influence? No social cage can hold me. So I can talk myself out of trouble 9 times out of 10.
Awesome.
My weakness tag is a barbed tongue. When I get put into a corner, I spit truths left, right, and sideways and don't care what happens. Let the chips fall where they may. And then routine, I went with the cabaret singer. The identity is the toast of Frankfurt. And then, cabaret headliner is what I do with my time. I haven't established the name of the nightclub yet, but that is where I go to carry out my routine. And the quality that I now possess because of my routine is nerves of steel.
Okay.
And the weakness tag is there is an ingenue, a chorus girl who's trying to creep in on my
Nice.
my
Can't wait
headline.
for the All About Eve moment that's
Exactly.
going to inevitably happen with this.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
And you can also pick an additional if you want to from any of those.
okay,
So it looks like the one thing that's missing is the adaptation.
yeah, the mystery for the adaptation.
And what does it say in the adaptation
Adaptation
for the mystery?
That's expression adaptation. Choose a mystery for this theme, a question that your mythos wants you to explore, investigate, discover, or answer to. It can be related to your powers, to your legend, or your mundane life. For example, if you're doing a Merlin thing, where's their holy grail now? Doppelganger, what is the ultimate power I could steal? Geppetto, who or what can breathe life into my toys? You can also try exploring philosophical questions about the nature or source of your powers, seeking something that is greater than your powers, fears of losing touch with your original nature.
I almost wonder if there isn't something to play with the idea of, like, finding your own voice. You've gotten so good at stealing other people's voices, but, like, what is my authentic voice?
You're so good at this, Mac. You're the best. You're the best.
I like that. That's very good.
It's great.
All your stuff is like so creative. I feel like mine's like very straightforward. I might have to be like.
I thought yours was creative too, though.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I support anything that's excused like
Wolf-like.
Wolfie, so.
It seemed on brand.
Down for
Yeah,
it.
I'll think about it. I might send you some tweaks like between now and the next session.
Yeah, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
So,
Random question.
Yeah.
When you perform, do you change your voice once in a while just to keep it fresh?
I think I might for some songs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on who I have and what I can get. Like if it's... I think part of it too is normally if there's someone up and coming who is trying to take my place, like this ingenue is, I usually take their voice.
Yeah.
Like I take them out of
Yeah.
the picture and then use them, kind of lean them on them a little bit. So yeah, I think there is a bit of that
Okay.
for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's great.
So the normal crowd, they're just like, my God, she has the most amazing range.
Yeah.
It's fucking outrageous.
So good.
you can do anything.
Yeah.
I'll do the aria from the Magic Flute, followed by Blues in the Night.
Like the Fifth Element.
Yes, exactly like the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I love the idea that you've gotten so good at that, but, like, forgotten what you sound like.
Yeah. I like that.
I love that. That's so good.
So the next one is a little
I'm still
tricky.
stuck on one more.
Oh, yeah.
I'll think about it later, I think, maybe, but you're always very good, so
Yeah.
it's good to question
No,
the
let's
Mac.
do it.
For routine, I'm still looking for my identity. I don't know. I choose an identity for this theme, an absolute statement that captures an attitude, motive, or belief related to your routine. Police officer, I can't risk it. Just a few more years to retirement. Crazy homeless hobo. Doomsday is upon us. Corporate board member, the good of the company comes first. I don't know what my company or my hairdressing motto would be.
And this is, sorry, which one?
Routine.
Routine?
How I feel about it, why you hold on to the routine. I already said I did it for my kids, but
Yeah.
What was the routine again? Could you
Oh,
read it out?
I go to work to hairdress every day. So I'm a hairdresser. I collect city gossip and secrets, and I do it because my kids got to eat something. So I go to
Like,
work.
the customer is never right.
Yeah. Off with their ends.
Off with their ends. Thank you.
Winner. Winner.
You can tell I need a haircut. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, oh, my splits.
Right? Once fair is over,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So the next part of this is really interesting and is going to be a little challenging because we haven't gotten into story and stuff, but it's something we can start talking through, which is on the front page of your character sheets. There is a space here for theme title, and this is for your crew theme book. So you actually have weakness tags and power tags based that are shared amongst you, and there's slightly different mechanics in how you use them, but they are shared between the group.
Okay.
So the concept in the book, the questions it asks are like, what is our shared goal? Who or what brought us together? Why do we work together? What does each member contribute to the cause? Where do we meet? Stuff like that. So that's something to start thinking about, is where would the connection be? Because I feel like there's probably some place that you all frequent that is maybe like a location that is central and also just makes sense. Like you, your Red Riding Hood goes there to do her heavy drinking. It's maybe a front for the criminal organization, or it's just a place where you can actually get away from the crew for a while. Maybe it's a place where you get a lot of hair clients and stuff. You know, you sometimes perform there. maybe that's what I'm thinking makes the most sense for this, because you guys do have very like disparate stuff that you're doing, but there's something that's still going to draw you all together.
What if it's your hair salon? I mean, like, is it okay if it's something that's like that belonging to one of us, or does it need to be a place that's more neutral?
It doesn't really matter. This is basically for the concept and like the overall like crew goal, which like I said is a little hard to determine because there's no story that we've been rolling into so far, but that doesn't mean we can't start thinking about how everybody is connected right now.
Because I could even go to the cabaret to go do her hair too.
That's
do you know what I mean?
true.
Though when you're there to drink and hang out, and like
That makes sense.
I could see Fairy Godfather coming to the cabaret and hanging out.
Yeah,
Even
very
if he
popular
even if he
place.
wouldn't run it, but like I feel like he would come
Yeah.
hang out there too.
Can I suggest a cabaret name? Because I
Please.
have a name that was actually for a bar
it.
in here, but it could be like more encompassing. I wanted to call it the Wishing Well.
Yeah. Are you kidding? That is so good.
Perfect.
Because especially with having a bar in there,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Because I
where
was
do we
thinking
put
doing like a
that?
storybook theme for it, and that's perfect. Like, that's genius.
yeah. So the thing that connects everybody is the Wishing Well. Then,
Nice,
if that
okay.
works.
Is that what we put theme title? Or is that mystery identity?
You know
or is
what?
that?
I want to change up the name of the bar
Mm-hmm.
because I used Mickey's because that was in the book.
Yeah.
I want to make it Jiminy's Bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's very good.
And that's one of the front ones, right?
And you wish upon a star.
No, that's just sort of. It's like that's the place where I hang out to do business.
Sure. So that would be like the business bar, and then like when you want to get away and go to a different bar and see the show and all of that, you go down to the Wishing Well.
The guys, they don't always appreciate good music.
Yeah, and the Wishing Well is in rival gang's territory too, so it might be a good place to pick up information and all of that too about other goings on.
Can they watch cricket there?
They can listen to it on the radio.
Sorry, there you go.
That's hilarious.
Ooh.
I just love the idea of the bartender being real voice of conscious.
They
Like,
probably serve grasshopper like cocktails.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna
That's
think
the
I
specialty.
like
That's a specialty. I'll have.
So we're gonna make.
We'll have 4 grasshoppers, please.
Yes. That's good because we don't serve nothing else here.
No, they serve beer with a lot of hops in it.
Wow.
Although they did have that one time that the health inspector came through and they found so many fucking bugs.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
think
we
about
don't come
that.
here for the food.
yeah.
I saw the worm. Wait, it wasn't a worm. Oh, it was grasshopper. Oh, that's beautiful.
Nice.
So we have Jiminy's Bar. We have the Wishing Well. We have the quarry that kind of bisects the city.
Okay.
So I imagine that there's sort of a bridgeway that goes over that. We have a port. We have the hairstyling salon,
It's the reddest rose.
the reddest rose.
Ooh, I like that.
Shout out to one of my homies out there. Love you.
Okay, that's the hair salon. We have a detective agency that's going to have to be.
Yeah, still thinking about it. It will have a name before the first game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good name.
Unnamed
great.
detective agency.
Red cloak.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much that you can play with
Yeah.
there.
I don't know. Like I was like, I don't know, the basket case or something. I don't know. 'Cause I don't know.
I just want the slogan to be, "We'll sniff them out."
Yeah.
Red cloak and dagger.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll sniff them out.
Yeah.
Do you work alone, or do you have like a partner, or a maybe even a like secretary, or
Might have like a secretary, but I feel like I work alone mostly for the most part.
something to think about, like
Yeah.
for characters? If you've got like a secretary or something, I'd love to know
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'll think about that.
And the exotic automat.
Yes, I've got exotic automat on here. Awesome. Let's see. So, like I said, it's hard to come up with what the theme title is because it is a little disparate, but it could be. I feel like everybody's goal is to do something for other people, or there's a lot of that shared between you. So maybe the theme title is "Making Dreams Come True."
Oh, I like that.
Sounds like a fairy tale right there.
Something along those lines, maybe, because everybody seems to want to do something for others. You want to entertain them. You want to help solve their mysteries. You want to make sure that they get the things they need. You want to make their hair look awesome
Could
and
be
get all the
Dreamweavers.
secrets.
I was thinking about my salon now too.
So that's something I would
That's
suggest.
something on the menu. Dreamweaves.
A dream is a wish your part makes. I'll see myself out.
That's the men's haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have a menu on
Oh,
the
yeah,
wall.
that's the
with all-
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hairy tail.
Oh, no.
Everything is
Yeah.
garbage. So what brought you guys together would be the wishing well. Do you, any of you feel that you already like have connections or working together on stuff?
Well, I've definitely done your hair.
Right, yeah.
That makes
For
perfect sense.
sure. I'd probably try to get you in because you wear that hood a lot, and I wonder what's going on underneath there.
That's true.
Too much hat time is never good.
You
No.
know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if I should add in, like I put I risk losing control when I'm using my like fighter wolf power, but I wonder if I should like grow extra hair. And like that's how I know you, because when I use like I like, okay, we need to manage this. Like, I need a shave or something.
Yeah, it's weird that
wax.
you have a client that has to come in all the time.
Yeah, all the time. So you're like the one who like keeps my secret about that a little bit, and like
Oh, how
2 to
often
3
you
times
really
a
got.
week you're
Oh,
in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
all
I have a back room. You come to the back.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna do that just because I like that connection.
And keep it discreet.
Yeah. So you're coming with it.
I feel like maybe we've worked together supernaturally.
Okay.
You and Joy.
I could see that.
Like, because you also kind of do the same thing a little bit, where, like, you make a deal, you give people something that they want in exchange for, you know,
Things that I want.
that kind, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe, like, that was an angle.
Okay.
Like, maybe that's why I started coming to the Wishing Well, was somebody was like, hey, I tried to make a deal, it didn't work out, and I'm like, well, who's this? Who's doing the same thing I am? Like, what is up? Hoping maybe to get some answers.
Okay. I like
Because I
that.
feel like I got my power, I don't really get it. Like, I don't, like, I'm doing this, and I feel like I have a mission to do it, but, like, I don't feel like I'm not, I know I went with the 2 instead of 3, but I feel like it's still kind of mysterious, like, why I feel obligated to do this.
And it is, even with with 2, it's still balanced. So, like I said earlier, what I would think of it as by way of playing your characters is sort of like that past life thing, like the first Buffy movie where she's sitting there and going like, I kind of remember this stuff, but it seems sort of like it was a dream, and it's weird, but I feel influenced by it. That's how the mythoi works. So it's trying actively to come into being through your characters.
Okay.
So on the crew theme card, you also, like I said, will get power tags that will be used slightly differently.
Okay.
But I would definitely say you get to have 3. And I'll go through all of the questions. But the one I would recommend we definitely put on here is
So you
B.
have to all use the same 3.
Yes.
Got it.
Is B, which is where do you meet for work, rest, or prepare for action. So I think that shared location of the wishing well is a power tag.
Yeah.
And that's something you can definitely invoke in conversation or, what have you. So here are some other questions. And if something like pops out at one of you guys, like, let me know. How do you help, assist, or support one another? What have you learned to do well together? Who is guiding, backing, or assisting your operation? How do you get around? What environments or situations are you most comfortable in? What special sources of information do you have, which might be good for this? What sort of reputation or name have you made for yourselves? What approach or tactic do you share in tackling challenges? And what kind of special gear, resource, or power is at your disposal? I think that it might be cool to have, maybe you have a special source of information there too, because that's like the place to be. So you may have a shared contact or something like that.
Smitty behind the bar. He knows everything.
It's like the idea of the bartender.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of like picture it just because I always do when we've got like a magical bar is the bar in Dresden Files. That's like, it's like, neutral territory. It's like no one can like fuck with each other there. Like all the magic's kind of like, I don't know. Like
That's not a bad thing that you have like, maybe let's see if there's something else here that works for that, but that might be a good thing to have like a safe space or something, like special protection or something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Looking at the thing.
I kind of like H for the sort of reputation or name have you made for yourselves about like neighborhood support.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm not going to talk for everybody, but I feel like the idea of like protecting the people around where we are, where we live, like our neighborhood's what we're focused on. Like you're helping people that have something come up, and I'm kind of doing the same thing, and but it's about the neighborhood more than the city as a whole. Yeah, at the same time, like for various reasons, we all don't want the horrible shit happening in our neighborhood.
Right.
Right.
Like
It's bad for business.
Totally.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
So what are we calling that one? Neighborhood Watch?
Yeah, like Neighborhood Watch.
At the same time, like the people in the neighborhood, they're like, oh hey, they're friendly. You stop by and get a cup of coffee for free.
I like that.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that you all have that sort of shared reputation.
What if our connection, like it's like your underworld connection? Like we can kind of get information through that, because I don't feel like none of us are like police officers or anything. It's like we all are good like handling like the shadier side of things if we need to get stuff done.
Sure.
And does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. That might be too obvious. Maybe you already have that connection as a character. Maybe that's not helpful adding it for all of us.
I also have a way to get a lot of information too.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I do too.
That's
Which,
true.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, definitely all seem to have
Maybe
that.
as a group, we have a guy that works in City Hall.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Like somebody.
We have somebody above board.
Yeah. Because that's where we don't have
Yeah, we don't have that as well.
something.
Yeah.
But like he likes the fact that we're trying to keep a lid on terrible shit happening in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Maybe he's like our
that would be
not
like D.
ombudsman. What do they call him in Chicago? Like they're not city
Oh,
councilmen.
yeah.
but
I know what
they're,
you're talking about. Dang it. Because that's what Michelle Obama's like, family member, whatever she did. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on.
That's what, like, she went around and worked for one of those people. Was it alderman or something like that?
Alderman.
Yeah.
Good
She
job.
worked for an alderman, yeah.
Yeah, that answers question D, so that's great, because
Okay,
that's who's guiding, backing, or assisting your operations.
Okay.
So, alderman, but what do we want to call him? Alderman, what's a good fairy tale? Or it could just be Alderman
So
Adams.
this is somebody that works at City Hall.
Yeah.
Narrator.
Alderman Anderson, Alderman Grimm, Alderman.
I wonder if they go by something else, though, because they're trying to keep their involvement quiet.
So we don't even know who. We just know where he works, but know who he is.
Yeah, like it's somebody that you like know, and maybe it's got like, because you guys have enough information, but like operates under a code name or
like
something.
deep throat situation.
At the bar in particular doesn't use their actual name.
he just goes by Jack because there's so many.
There's so many Jacks.
There's so many. There's so many.
That was what part of the concept too. Is like I'm gonna just be the Jack.
Yeah.
Look at all the powers I can pull from.
Oh, you mean my boy Jack? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he Jack Sprat? Is he Jack and the Beanstalk?
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill.
Yeah, I like that. So we have Jack, who works at City Hall and is a regular there. That's sort of
The
your
alderman.
cool. Yeah. And then let's see. Then you get a shared weakness tag. The question options are: what is flawed or lacking in the way you operate together? How do you get each other into trouble? Who or what are you all afraid of? What places or situations do you find tough to handle?
Can you read those one more time? I'm sorry.
Yeah. What is flawed or lacking in the way you operate together? How do you each get each other into trouble? Who or what are you all afraid of? What places or situations do you find tough to handle?
I feel like the one thing that's lacking is like really like none of us are like upstanding, like heroic, like police officers or anything like that. We're all kind of like
We're a ragtag
yeah,
band.
we're a bit of a
Yeah. Well, and there's one of the options I put in here. It mentions like no clear leadership. So because it seems like you guys are not operating as a group yet, and so that's something that may change and evolve as you go on. But
And you can like strike a tag and change it to something else. There's a mechanic for that.
I think so. And even then, like, we'll figure it out. If something isn't included in the rules that makes sense, then I'm, for anybody who's watched me GM, I'm very story heavy, and rules are awesome, but if they fuck with the story, then let's do something about it.
nice. Yeah.
Sure.
I like that.
I like the nuclear leadership.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't have any kind of reason why I'd be a leader
Yeah.
Yeah.
with you all.
We're more a loose alliance because we all have like
Yeah.
with things we all work towards and care about in the neighborhood. Okay. Cool.
I think that makes sense.
Citizens on patrol.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Dave.
Now I just have that.
Yep, I know. That's what was just playing.
So, that is character creation.
Yay, we did it!
Yay!
So, since we have some time left, I was thinking maybe we should go over the player moves so that when we do start in 2 weeks, we're going to be able to roll into that. And there's some things that I'm sure there'll be questions about because this operates a little differently. You have a lot more moves than a lot of other PBTA games.
Okay.
Some of them generate certain things as well. So, that way we're kind of prepped for it.
Got it.
So the first one is convince. When you use your abilities to talk, threaten, or seduce someone into doing something, you roll plus power. So for an example, Joey, with your character, you would say, oh, okay, I have all of these tags that apply to this. This one's a negative. I've got, say, +3. And then you would roll your 2d6. And based on that outcome, we would go through the options. So that's pretty self-explanatory with convince, and you get, different statuses and stuff. I'm not going to read everything. Change the game. This is a really interesting mechanic for this. When you use your abilities to give yourself or your allies an advantage, roll plus power. On a hit, you get juice equaling the power. Spend your juice to gain following effects. So you can create story tags, you can burn a power tag or a story tag, which basically gives you an extra boost, give or reduce statuses, but juice, basically we have these little tracking cards. So these, I'll make sure you guys each have a set of these. So you mark basically what kind of power you have, what the number is, and what the tag is that goes with it.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
but it has to be related to what it is. So, you can't decide to change the game to give yourself an advantage of I'm on a rooftop and there's rope here, you have to kind of use it then and there.
Got it.
It's not really going to be applicable when you are in the cellar of another place.
Okay, that makes sense.
I still have that rope.
Yeah. So it's not an entirely use it or lose it, but it has to make sense for what it is, where you got it. So it's kind of contextual. Face danger. When you use your abilities to avoid an incoming hit, endure harm, resist a malign influence, or hold it together, the MC or player will name a status with its tag and tier. You roll plus power, and so that's basically your somebody shooting at you, someone's trying to beat you up, someone's trying to convince you, trying to intimidate you into something. You would face danger. The opposite of that is go toe-to-toe, which is when you want to go against somebody else. Use your abilities to overcome someone or something in a struggle for control. State what your goal is, and your opponent can describe how they respond from there. So that is, I'm going to use my magic spell to cast a spell on somebody and turn them into a frog. Whatever. Hit with all you've got. When you have a clear shot and use your abilities to hit someone or something with all you've got, roll plus power. So you also get to assign statuses depending on if you actually hit. So that might stay with somebody for a while too, which will be a negative, positive tag.
Nice. Okay.
Got it.
Investigate. When you use your abilities to seek answers to burning questions, roll plus power. On a hit, you get clues equaling that power. You spend the clues one-to-one to ask the MC a question about the subject of your investigation, or ask another player a relevant question about their character. So like Juice, you will basically mark on one of these cards that you've got clues, and you can spend those clues to find out stuff. So let's say your Red Riding Hood character was investigating something at the library. Okay. You can ask me questions about things that were in the books. I cannot lie about what the answer is to it. You may not get a full, straightforward answer, but you can't use the knowledge you got at the library to get clues on the crime scene.
Okay, got it.
So again, it's contextual to how you obtain those points.
Yeah.
Sneak around. That's pretty obvious, I think. Take the risk. When you perform a daring, risky, or outright stupid feat, roll plus power. Woohoo! I love it. On 10 plus,
can't wait
you do
to
it
take
somehow. Yeah. So, then you've got, like I said, there's a lot of moves in here. Finally, some answers. When you find answers to your mystery, choose 1, 2, or all 3. You gain deeper understanding of your mythos and the subject of your mystery. You mark attention on the theme to which the mystery belongs. Or you could be shocked by the discovery, a point of rejecting your mythos, and you want to actually reject that, and that's part of the fade and crack track on there.
Got it.
Yeah. So you may need to choose a new mystery on that theme as well. So
once you solve it?
yeah, so you may actually
figure it out. Okay.
Yeah. End of the road. If your identity ever becomes resolved, rephrase it in the same spirit to describe a new goal, a greater scope, or a new angle. Alternatively, if this aspect of your life is truly ended, you may replace this identity's theme. So that's when you actually go, okay, this doesn't really apply to me anymore. I'm not a hairdresser anymore because I
quit doing other stuff now.
Yeah, I'm following up on this other thing, or you
Shop
got
was firebombed and can't work anymore.
yeah, you got, or you were actually working for someone else and you got fired. That kind of thing.
It's kind of funny, like you're the Godfather already planning to bomb her shop.
It's not his
I was
fault.
not planning to do it.
Okay.
I have
Things
been thinking about
happen.
things that happen.
Things happen.
Yeah. Boilers explode all the time.
They do. Oh my gosh.
But
I got a job working on a movie set now. I'm
There
just
you go.
doing hair for, celebrities only.
That's-
I've moved up in the world.
yes.
It could be something positive. I get it.
Yeah. Got that.
Or like my whole gang gets arrested or whatever, and now I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen in the course of it, or you decide that the don't align with what you want to do anymore, and they say, well, screw you, and we're going to go join a rival gang or something. There's a lot of things
Or I
that
finally
can
found a
happen.
man. I'm no longer working, and my kids have a daddy.
I'm a
Finally.
kept woman now. Kept woman now.
Yeah, and then this is important too. When you when answers to your mystery are within reach, but you forgo them, mark fade on that mystery's theme.
Okay.
So that's, I might throw out something that would be helpful, but you're also in the middle of doing something else. What do you pick? What's more important to you, finding out your personal mystery or whatever the larger story is? You can there's actually a mechanic for downtime in this as well with the montage. So when your character has some downtime, choose one way to spend it. So
a montage, a musical number.
yeah. So you can do
That
things
for me.
like give attention to one of your logos and basically explain why you would mark one on the attention track to it. Work the case, tell everyone at the table how you do it, and gain 3 clues of things. You can explore your mythos, prepare your next activity, recover from your last activity. Lots of options. There's a flashback mechanic in here. One of the important things, though, is stop holding back. And that's when you use your powers in a new and never before seen scale. And you tell what you're hoping to achieve and what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. And that's rolling on your logos.
Okay.
So, obviously, we'll figure out a lot of these as we go along and they become relevant. Has anybody got any questions?
A lot of the moves were like roll plus power.
Yeah.
Where do we?
So power is literally when you go over your character sheet and here, can I see your character sheet for a second? So let's see. Let's say you run into somebody and you think that they have information that you want to get out of them, and they're being they're pushing back against it. I might have you roll to try and push it out of them, and maybe you roll and you would add, like, you have street cred and you have criminal and
so it's like any of those tags that apply.
yeah,
at your
so
power
like
level.
I have a power of 2,
Okay.
and then you add it all together.
Got it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I was like, where is this stat and how do I find it?
Yeah, and most of them you're rolling against power. Some you're rolling with logos or a few other things.
Okay.
But it's really flexible in that way, and that's what I like, is you get to choose what your powers are.
Yeah, that's neat.
Make a case that why this applies, and there you go.
Exactly. And like I said, it's also with the weakness tags, I could say, hey, but this weakness tag applies,
Fantastic.
you're going to lose a point.
Yeah. Cool. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else for character creation that's really important, but I think we got it, guys.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we'll continue to figure out the city. I've asked you guys questions of people and locations. Anything that's important to you that you think about, please send it to me so that I can make sure I have it incorporated, and I'll get your character sheets at some point too.
Fantastic. Yay.
So,
Awesome.
so I think we're going to wrap a little early tonight then,
It's okay.
and we'll be back with the first actual session in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Does anybody else got anything fun going on that they want to talk about since we have a hot second?
We're playing Wild Wild Talents on Wednesday.
We are.
It's very exciting. So more cowboy magic madness, crazy madness.
It's cowboy mad.
I like
Get
cowboys.
to-
It's very good.
I love the
Also,
West.
if you're listening to this, you should sign up for JackerCon, which is our online fan-run convention, which is happening at the end of June. So June 23rd through the 27th, I believe, something like that. If you go to jackercon.com, you can sign up to play in games and to run games. I know a bunch of us are running and playing games. There's people running games all over the world, so for like the whole week, there's games in different time zones. No matter where you are, there's probably a game happening in your time zone. Last time I ran a game, like, people were from all over. There was like someone who it was like 2 a.m. It was crazy, but it's all fun. It's all online, so it's free. You just have to bring your own beer. So that's how that goes. So, jackercon.com.
That's never a problem for me.
No. All right. Is that everything? All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
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 Bye.